Want to go far in business and in life? You can't do it alone. The secret is expanding your network of personal relationships, building friendships, connecting on an intimate level, away from the office, over a coffee or cocktail. Welcome to All In with the real Nate Payo. The show that asks what happens when you go all in and leverage the power of your network of personal relationships.
From author Donnie Boivin comes the book, How to Be a Success Champion, available on Amazon. After years of living other people's dreams, author Donnie Boivin decided to jump out on his own and start a business, thinking it would be easy. Instead, he had a rude awakening and quickly understood that he had spent 20 years being an employee and had no idea how to be a business owner. His business was tanking, and he was on the brink of losing everything when he decided to fight for business freedom. In this must-read and life-changing book, author Donnie Boivin shares with readers his story intermingled with lessons learned from his mistakes and his failures. In How to Be a Success Champion, you will find advice the author received from mentors and how he went from zero to a six-figure business. The author walks you through the steps of how to get out of your own way, how to play the game of business and win, find your strengths, how to network effectively, how to build a personal brand, how to create champions for your business, how to get great at sales, how to take complete ownership of you and your business. How to Be a Success Champion from author Donnie Boivin, available on Amazon in both Kindle and paperback editions. Order your copy right now. It makes a great book for corporate events too. How to Be a Success Champion from author Donnie Boivin, available on Amazon.
Hello, hello. Welcome to the All In podcast with Nate Payo. Of course, I am your host, Nate Payo. Today, I'm joined with Karl Lillrud. Karl is a TEDx speaker, best-selling author, and just about ready to publish his fourth book, Hacking My Destiny. He's a sought-after mentor, business coach, and he helps individuals and organizations get empowered to do more with what they already have. Thank you, Karl, for coming and joining me today. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, 4 books, man. That's a lot. That's a big accomplishment. What got you started with writing?
It's sort of a full circle story. I started my entrepreneurship life when I was 16, and fast forward, been helping a bunch of companies all over the world as a consultant. And after a while, I realized that I wanted to do more than just help organizations. I wanted to help people to accomplish more with their lives. So I started to do keynote speaking. And after a while, that turned out to be coming more and more as mentor sessions, as an audience came back to me after a session and asked me if I could become their mentor. And after a while, I realized that I'm reaching to another audience when I'm doing the presentations compared to when I'm out doing consultant work. And the people that I talk to as a mentor and help professionally in one-on-one sessions is another type of group of people. But I realized that I could reach even more by writing books, because people that prefer to write or prefer to read books are not always the people that I can find in my audience.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people don't ask too, like they might be in the audience, but they're shy, they're nervous, they're busy. You got a long line of people waiting to chat with you. So they're like, maybe today I'll email them tomorrow, and then they forget. But that's an interesting journey you've been on, which kind of leads me to my first question. It's regarding around luck, and do you believe that people are lucky, or what are your thoughts on the word luck?
If I were to try to analyze myself and my own situation, I would probably say that I was, from that point of view, unlucky because I had a childhood where my dyslexia put me in a position where I couldn't reach my full potential during school time. But from a larger perspective, I would say that I'm lucky, but I don't, just as my book is called Hacking Your Destiny, I could say that I'm sort of hacking my possibility to be lucky by actually asking the right questions and challenging myself to reach more of my full potential.
Mm-hmm. I want to know more about that, hacking my destiny. A lot of people talk about hacking stuff now, life hacks, shortcuts, but I think we all have a purpose we're called to do. And when we really start leaning into figuring out our purpose, we start living our best potential life. And I think that's when we start finding the most fulfillment. So what is hacking my destiny to you? What's this book about?
Yeah, I totally agree with you that we're probably put on this earth just because of something, and we don't really know what that something is yet. Or maybe we do know, but we haven't really understood it in the right way. But the book Hacking My Destiny is very much about me finding myself, finding answers to many of the questions that I was carrying around, but that I didn't know how to handle. And I've written the book in a method that I would find very beneficial for me as a younger version of myself. It's guiding the reader through a number of life stories that I have been struggling with, and each chapter is opening up as with a question, and then I explain a little bit about the situation and my findings and my beliefs regarding how come I'm in these different situations and what I have learned from them. And then I follow up with a method or a tool to make sure that the reader actually can find their way around that particular situation and apply that tool in their own life environment and in other situations than the example that I have given.
Yeah, I love this idea of asking questions, especially surrounding beliefs that we tell ourselves, the stories we tell ourselves. A lot of, if we have a destiny that we're called to, sometimes it's like an itch. You just feel like, hey, I should be doing something more, and I don't know what it is, but I should be doing more. And so we start going down that path, and then our beliefs tell us, hey, that's for somebody else to do. You're not that good. You're not an expert. Who's going to listen to what you have to say? Why should you be the one to do that? And I've had a lot of thoughts recently about questions. And when you start asking yourselves better questions and you start looking at the beliefs you have and questioning those, it starts being something that like you can't unsee. You go,
yeah,
I can't, if I know how to ask better questions, whenever a challenge arrives, I can't not do it anymore. And then when I start not doing it anymore, then I started saying, hey, I'm going to ask these questions myself. Now I have answers or a better way of looking at the situation. And I can't hide in my self-doubt and fear as much as I could in the past. So I feel like I am compelled to get out there and chase that destiny. And people talk about hacks. Like there's no hacks. It's always hard work. It's challenging. It's grinding it out. You're not going to find the shortcut, but I don't think you're talking hack in the same term as shortcut here, are you?
No, definitely not. I mean, we are really opening Pandora's box, your own Pandora's box, to try to figure out like the questions that hold you back, or the feelings about yourself, and all these feelings are actually connected to some sort of question, like why am I always choosing? For instance, in my situation, why am I always trying to find my own path? Why am I not doing what everybody else are doing? And what am I getting out of that? And like what put me in this situation to actually choose to not follow the same path as everyone else? Because obviously, if I just follow the crowd, that's quite easy. but I'm not that kind of person. I don't want to choose just the easy way. I want to choose the way that is right for me, and what's right for me is different in different situations. But to summarize it, what's right for me is always where I can learn something.
And what would be a tool you would follow up with that question you asked yourself?
Yeah, so depending on the situation, there's different tools to use in different situations. But if I'm in a situation where I need to choose right or left, I always try to see if there's actually not just an assumption that there is two options. Either you choose right or you choose left. Maybe it's just because we have been taught to either choose right or left, but perhaps there's multiple alternatives. And by thinking about this and not just accepting what everybody else are doing or saying, then I find a much broader perspective of possibilities that I can apply. And by doing so, I will learn more from every situation, but also I enable myself to achieve more. But it's also in some situations resulting in a setback. But the setback is not a setback if you actually learn from it. Then I will be richer than the person that have not tried different paths and just following whatever everybody else are doing. Because now I know what's not working and why it's not working, and then I can change that situation and apply other method models or ideas.
Yeah. One of my favorite books is The Alchemist. I don't know if you're familiar with that book, but it's about a boy on a journey to discover his treasure, or say his destiny. And he starts going down a path of figuring it out. And along the way, he has various setbacks. And when you get to the end of the book, he's on this journey. He's accomplished it. Don't want to spoil too much of it, but you find out that like every little setback he had taught him something else. And had he not had those experiences, he wouldn't have been ready for the next message or the next gift or the next stage in his journey. So it's just like everything comes into your life for a reason. It's about identifying the opportunity to learn from it, the mistakes that were made, and to keep moving forward. And to the more you are become aware of it, you start looking for things along your destiny. You start noticing they start appearing. You're like, oh yeah, why are people coming into my life that are kind of pushing me in this path that I was going down? Well, there probably always were coming into your life. You just weren't aware. You weren't paying attention. And now you are paying attention. So now you're starting to see the things that are taking you there. It's amazing how life and setbacks work like that. Now you talk a little bit about doing what nobody else is doing. Like you're an against the grain kind of person. Do you ever have like doubts within yourself of like, hey, should I be doing this? Am I good enough to be doing this? Like, what are some of the beliefs you have around being an against the grain person?
Yeah, definitely. And especially when I was younger. I mean, as a younger individual, we tend to not be that secure in ourselves, and we tend to want to follow what everybody else are doing. And from time to time, even in this age, I'm in a situation where I'm questioning my way of doing things. But I don't think that I'm actually. I don't think it's actually that I'm questioning myself. It's more of my survival filter or something like that. It's like my own protection system that pops in and say, okay, so maybe you should not do this because maybe you will have that pain that you had this other time when you tried something else and it might not go the way that you want. Maybe you should choose the easy path. So it's like a protection layer inside our thoughts that holds us back. But it holds us back in its own belief that it's protecting us. But what it's actually is happening is that it's protecting us from success. Because you will not reach success in the way that I talk about success anyhow, if you just do what everybody else are doing.
How do you define success?
Yeah, success is when you have reached more potential than you had the day before. That when you have actually learned something, when you go to sleep with a smile and a calm feeling in your body and a relaxed mind.
Yeah, I love that definition of success, because like a lot of times I'll say that, like, hey, we're chasing success, and you go, are we chasing money? Are we chasing things? Are we chasing titles? Are we chasing promotions? And it's like, no, I think you have to define success as if like there's a version of you that's 100%. Are you mirroring that at 100%? Are you 80% or 50%? And if you're living up to like that 100% level of what you're capable of in that moment and that day, not every day we're going to be 100%. Very rarely we'll ever do that, but we try to be the best possible version of ourselves possible. That to me is success, when you don't regret because you wish, I wish I had tried that thing I wanted to try, or, it's cool.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
That kind of leads me to my next question, which is the idea of being all in on something. What does all in mean to you with regards to an outcome or an idea?
All in means that I will go beyond my own expectations of what I can do. So I will realize that by going all in on something, I realize that I can push my own boundaries. I can reach to a new level. And I've been doing this over and over again throughout my entrepreneurship life. And it's really, really interesting when you're in that situation where you see the limit is just pushing away from you, because there's so much more that you can do.
Yeah, that's a great way of looking at it. And it seems like, you've been an all-in person with your destiny. I mean, being a public speaker, TEDx speaker, that's a big deal. Best-selling author 4 times, or you've written 4 books. That's huge. Not a lot of people do that. You're definitely going against the grain. So I can see you live that mantra of being all in. Who are like the people that if you said, hey, I'm a coach, I'm a mentor, I'm an author for a person, who is that ideal person? So if they're sitting at home listening and you describe them to a T and they said, hey, I got to get in touch with you, who are they?
I would say that it's anyone that feel that they are stuck, they're stuck in a routine, they're stuck in a situation, and they believe that they can do more, but they don't really know how to change that pattern. And if I look at most of my clients, it's people that are what I like to call entrepreneurs. They want to be entrepreneurs. It's not always like that. It could be people that just feel that they are stuck in their current job situation, and that they're stuck in the country they're living in, and they don't feel that they are in the right place. And it's not that difficult to figure out the answers to their questions, their initial questions, because they just need someone to talk to in many situations that have been through various situations where like in my case, I've been challenging the norm and I've been challenging myself, so that they can see that stepping outside of their comfort zone is not a scary place. It's a really, really interesting place. It's a place where you will be laughing more. It's a place where you will be learning more. You will be achieving more. But it's also a place that will put you in situations that is not that comfortable, as if you just follow the same routine every day. You go up, the alarm bells goes on. You walk up from the bed, you have your breakfast, jump on the bus, go to the job, and then on and on it goes, week by week by week, and so on.
Yeah, that's amazing, because there's a lot of people that are entrepreneurs. There's a lot of people that just want to get out of their rut, get out of their out of their heads, and they feel compelled to do that. So I think that's important. And a lot of times we don't know where to start. And I think you're right. You know, you have to start with questions, and good questions to ask yourself, and having somebody that can have the tools, like after you start asking your question, like what's next. So that's great. So if people, hey, I want to find my way, and you're the guy that's going to get them there, how can they find you?
The easiest way is just go to my website. It's karllillrud.com. That's KarlLillrud.com.
Awesome. All that link will be on the bio in your show notes here for you. So if you're listening, please go check Karl out. Check his book out. I think you're going to learn a lot. I love people's stories of overcoming their own personal adversities and reaching back and helping others find theirs and lifting it up. So you're going to get a wealth of knowledge by putting that mindset into your head and moving forward. So thank you, Karl, for coming on the show. Appreciated having you and enjoyed our conversation.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been really interesting, and thanks for having me.
No problem. We'll chat soon. Stay in touch.
Yeah, take care.
Make sure to visit our website, therealnatepeo.com, where you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, so you'll never miss an episode of All In. While you're at it, if you found value, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes, or if simply tell 2 friends about the show. Looking to connect? You can find Nate Peo on LinkedIn or Instagram.